Throughout history, many rulers have been remembered for their cruelty, but no emperor became synonymous with madness quite like Caligula. It was said that he wanted to make his horse a consul, that he declared himself a living god, that he humiliated Rome's most powerful men and ruled through fear. But did these things really happen? Or did Rome turn a murdered emperor into history's greatest monster? Today we'll explore why Rome feared Caligula. Caligula was born in AD 12 as Gaius Julius Caesar Germanicus. His father Germanicus was one of Rome's most celebrated generals. Loved by the army and admired by the people, many believed he was destined to become emperor. As a child, young Gaius often accompanied his father on military campaigns. Dressed in a miniature soldier's uniform, he wandered through the Roman camps alongside the legionaries. Amused by his tiny military sandals, the soldiers gave him a nickname, Caligula. In Latin, it meant little boots. It was a name that would one day become known across the Roman world, but his childhood would not remain peaceful for long. While serving in the eastern provinces, Germanicus died suddenly under mysterious circumstances. Rumors spread quickly throughout Rome that he had been poisoned. After his father's death, Caligula's family became the target of political persecution. His mother was exiled. His two older brothers were arrested and later died in captivity. Before he was even a man, Caligula had already learned Rome's harshest lesson. Power could change hands, but fear never truly disappeared. In AD 37, Emperor Tiberius died, and Rome awaited its next ruler. The choice fell upon a young man who was only 24 years old, Caligula. The people of Rome celebrated his accession with extraordinary enthusiasm. To them, he was not simply another emperor. He was the son of Germanicus, the beloved general they had never forgotten. The streets filled with celebration. The Senate welcomed the new ruler. The army pledged its loyalty. For the first time in years, Rome believed it had a reason to hope. During the early months of his reign, Caligula made several popular decisions. He recalled political exiles, distributed generous bonuses to the people, and organized lavish public games and spectacles. Many believed a new golden age had begun. They expected Caligula to become the wise and honorable leader his father might have been. But that optimism would not last. Only a few months after taking the throne, Caligula fell gravely ill, and when he recovered, Rome believed it was looking at a very different emperor. Just a few months after becoming emperor, Caligula suddenly fell gravely ill. Ancient sources never clearly explain what caused his condition. Some describe a severe fever. Others suggest it may have been a serious infection that nearly claimed his life. Modern historians, however, agree on one thing. It is impossible to know exactly what happened. What we do know is that Rome believed its young emperor was dying. Across the city, people gathered in temples and offered prayers for his recovery. Against all expectations, Caligula survived. But from this point on, the ancient accounts begin to change dramatically. Writers claim that the emperor who returned from his sickbed was no longer the man Rome had welcomed just months before. They described him as increasingly suspicious, more ruthless, and obsessed with absolute power. Whether these stories reflect the truth or the opinions of hostile historians remains a matter of debate. But one thing is certain. From that moment on, fear began to spread through the heart of Rome. As Caligula's reign continued, the mood in Rome began to change. Nowhere was that change felt more deeply than in the Senate. Ancient writers describe an emperor who openly humiliated Rome's political elite, mocking senators and treating their authority with contempt. Caligula no longer seemed interested in sharing power. He wanted to stand above it. Some sources even claim that he demanded to be worshipped as a living god, placing himself beyond the traditions that had guided Rome for centuries. Whether every detail is true remains uncertain. But one story has survived for nearly 2,000 years. According to legend, Caligula planned to appoint his favorite horse, Incitatus, as a consul. Today, many historians believe this was probably never meant to happen. Instead, it may have been a deliberate insult, a way of telling the Senate that even his horse was more worthy than Rome's most powerful politicians. Whether fact or a political satire, the message was unmistakable. The emperor had become unpredictable, and in ancient Rome there was nothing more dangerous than a ruler no one could understand. Before long, fear gave way to something even more dangerous: conspiracy. By AD 41, fear had spread far beyond the Senate. Even members of Caligula's own Praetorian Guard had begun to lose confidence in the emperor. Among them was an officer named Cassius Dio. Ancient sources claim that Caligula frequently mocked and humiliated him in public. But personal insults alone were unlikely to explain what happened next. Many of Rome's most powerful figures had come to believe that Caligula's rule had become impossible to predict and impossible to control. so they made a decision. The emperor had to die. On January 24th, AD 41, after leaving a theatrical performance, Caligula walked through a narrow palace corridor. There, the conspirators struck. Within moments, the emperor who had once been welcomed as Rome's greatest hope was dead. He was only 28 years old. His wife, Caesonia, and their young daughter were killed soon afterward. Caligula's reign had lasted less than 4 years, but his name would echo through history for the next 2,000. So, why did Rome fear Caligula? Was he truly a mad emperor consumed by absolute power, or was his reputation shaped by the very people who celebrated his death? The truth is, we'll probably never know. Most of what survives was written by men who had every reason to despise him, yet whether he was a tyrant, a victim of propaganda, or something in between, Caligula became more than a man. He became a legend. And perhaps that's why, after nearly 2,000 years, Rome's most feared emperor is still one of history's greatest mysteries.